Hello, everyone. I didn't get to put my music on because I was um, hoping that my guests would come, and I got a little bit, you know, so I am here. Welcome to Generational Turnaround Podcast, where we seek the truth and then we bring you the proof. And the proof comes from the guests that I invite. And I invite them because they are professionals in their fields. And I wouldn't bring anybody else but a professional because I want to make sure they know what they're talking about. Well, I was supposed to have Dana Cox today, and I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened. uh, I don't know if it was something I did or something happened and she could not make it. So, but anyway, we are here and I want to gotta pray us in no matter what happens. We're gonna be we're gonna be all right because we're gonna bring some prayer in here first. Heavenly Father, I come before you with a heart full of gratitude, knowing that every good and perfect gift comes from you. Lord, we desire to leave behind a legacy of faith that glorifies you and bless the generations after us. Teach us, O God, to walk in your ways, to live a life that reflects your love, wisdom, and righteousness. Let our faith be more than words. Let it be an example, a light that guides those who come after us. Father, we pray for the children, for our families, and all those that we may be called to influence. May they know you intimately, trust you completely, and follow you wholeheartedly. Let them see in us a faith that is real, unwavering, and filled with grace. Break every generational curse, every cycle of pain, every stronghold that has kept our family from fully experiencing your goodness. We're going to replace fear with faith, doubt with confidence, and struggle with abundance, both spiritually and naturally. Lord, let our words be life giving, our actions be inspiring, and our love be undeniable. Help us to speak truth, to encourage, and to build up those who need to know their worth in you. May our legacy be one of wisdom, strength, and a deep, unshakable trust in your promises. We surrender our plans, our dreams, and our legacy into your hands, knowing that you are the author and finisher of our faith. May all that we do and all that we leave behind point back to you. In Jesus' mighty name, we pray. Amen. Yes, Lord. We got to do it like that, everybody. We got to give God his first. And whatever happens after that, it's an abundance that He's given to us. He's already given us more than we deserve. Y'all know that. We know, and I'm saying we, because I know that I have done some things in my life that I don't deserve all that God so willingly loving me, unconditional love to me. He gives it freely and wholeheartedly. And y'all know that we are made in His image. So, what's really going on? We are of God. All this fighting and all of this trying to hurt one another, trying to make sure that we get ours by no matter by any means necessary. Well, I'm here to tell you, if you don't know me, you will by the end of this podcast. And I am so, look, I can hardly talk, y'all. I'm looking at Dana. I'm looking at Dana right now, and I'm not going to waste any more time. Y'all heard me. Y'all hear me every week. But Dana, you don't. So hold on. Wait a minute. Let me pull Dana up. Dana,
Hello, hello. How are you today?
I am blessed and highly favored. Dana, I sent you everything but the link, right?
It's okay. We good. I'm here.
You're here. You were
I'm
here.
here. And I'm
You
right on time.
were supposed to be here. You were supposed to be here.
Yes, ma'am.
And I am supposed to be here
Yes, ma'am.
together.
Yes.
So, Dana, okay, let me, everybody, I kind of know Dana because I read her bio, but I know you don't know anything. So I'm gonna read a little bit about Dana before we get into this. Dana L. Cox, founder of Fix Coaching and Consulting, and author of From Burnout to Badass. All right. Flip the script on your work life balance. It's a radical reset expert. That's what Dana is, a radical reset expert dedicated to helping individuals break free from overwork and burnout. I know we all can relate to that. A former high powered executive at a Fortune 500 company, Dana understands the challenges of balancing a demanding career with family life. Having managed 6 children in a 33-year marriage. Oh my God, Dana. Okay. I just want to say congratulations before I read on. With her focus on leadership and resilience, she empowered women to thrive in their careers while protecting their well being. As she put it, women are told they can have it all, but no one warns us that having it all often means losing ourselves. Yes, Dana, right there. You said it all right there. If you don't say anything else, that truth right there is going to resonate with every viewer on here. And so, okay, now That was my small, but I want you to introduce yourself and fill in the blanks where I left off.
Okay, no problem, no problem. I'm so happy to have this time with you, Miss Judy, and your platform and your followers. So, as you said, I'm Dana L. Cox. I am the founder of Fixed Coaching and Consulting. I'm really in this. My mission is to help high achieving individuals and corporations really to turn, learn how do I put this? I want to use different language than what the bio said, right? So my goal is to really help individuals get positioned to get paid without the burnout, right? To make sure that they are showing up in the spaces and places, either as individuals or as business owners, and they're positioned appropriately to monetize either their skills or their services. And from a company perspective, I really like to help them develop a pipeline of leaders. So helping them with their talent retention and getting individuals positioned to lead within their organization that drive results, as well as a sustainable culture. So, Miss Judy, you muted. I can't hear you.
Let's see, when I get excited, I don't even look at buttons. I just start
Okay,
talking.
that is
Oh,
okay. And
yeah.
in my 6 children, I do have 6 adult children. I have 1 daughter and 5 sons. I am a mom of 7 though. My 7th child passed away. It would be 25 years ago this August. And I am I'm a grandmother of 3 amazing grandchildren. I have 2
Oh,
granddaughters and a grandson, and they are amazing. I
I,
joy and love of being a grandparent. There's nothing like it.
I can say and confirm that I have 4 granddaughters.
Mm,
Okay, so there's no grandsons in there, but it's still it's early because they are all in their 20s, and
mm.
the oldest is 25, but no children yet. So now let's get down to it, Dana.
Let's go.
Uh, let's go. Okay, what was the turning point in your life that made you realize the importance of work-life balance?
Yeah, the turning point for me, Miss Judy, was really realizing that I had hit a point, right? I think from a professional perspective, my career was really, going extremely well. My family was doing well as well. But one evening I was working late and the house was quiet, and I caught my own reflection. And I was like, "Ooh," I was shocked. I was like, "Who is that?" And it was not a good kind of shock, Miss Judy. It was not a good kind of shock. It was like oh dear, who is that? Where did she come from? Who's that lady? And I didn't really, I don't think people really understand when I say that I didn't recognize the woman staring back at me. But often when you're in, I'll liken it to this: when you're on a weight loss journey, oftentimes you don't see the progress that you're making because you still see your former self. And I was kind of in that space. Every time I saw myself, I saw my former self. I didn't see my current self. And so this was the moment I saw my current self. And my current self was 287 pounds. And I'm 5'3". That is not necessary. I wasn't in the best of shape that I should be for my stature. And I was, that was the shock to me. Like, how did I get here? When did I lose sight of me and taking care of me, my person? And that forced me to reflect and think about how I was living on a day-to-day basis that caused me to lose sight of myself.
Hmm. And how were you? I mean, was it because you were just consumed with work and the family and the needs of everybody else?
Mhm.
Because I understand that story right there. And then what, Dana?
Yeah, so it was that, Miss Judy. It was really like shouldering the responsibility of the work responsibilities and the team, my family responsibilities, trying to be a good friend, you know,
Mm,
as all of us are, right? And being that dependable person in the lives of those that were surrounding me, as us strong ones are, right? We have real broad
yeah,
shoulders,
yeah.
because carrying the weight of the world on them, um, because I
But
thought that
then
that's
you,
what I'm supposed to do, right?
right, right. And then isn't it strange that, okay, you, I, and whoever else falls in that category,
Mhm.
the friends are not. How do we, how do we end up with what seem to be like good friends, but they don't have that character that they can want to take on everything like we do?
Well, I think it's like, well, if you gonna do it, I'm gonna let you. Why am I gonna fight you for it?
Okay, okay,
Why
good
am I gonna
answer.
fight you for it? Like, girl, if you got it, go ahead
And they let us go ahead.
and let us go ahead, right? You want to control? You want to be the one to plan the trip? Okay, I'm gonna let you plan the trip. Just tell me when to show up. Oh, you want to be the one to plan her birthday party? Okay, I'm gonna let you be the one to do. So I think they were. I'll say it like this: my friends were smart, right? They were like, I'm going to manage my time wisely, and if you want to add yet another thing to your plate, who am I to stop you?
Okay,
Who am I to stop
okay,
you? I tried to tell you that, girl, don't let me have it, and you want to wrestle me to the ground to keep it.
yes.
Who am
And
I
what
to stop you?
what do you think? Why do you think that is really? Why do you think that women or men
Mhm.
in that category that loves to do that, everything for everybody, be all things to
Everybody.
everybody, and we know God only God can do that.
Mhm. Well,
But
I can't speak for everybody, right? But I can
mhm,
tell you for me, after having, worked through unpacking my ish, I'll call it
mhm,
that, right?
okay,
For me, it stems from the a fear of failure. And so when I was a teenager, I was 18, and I got pregnant when I was 18. I was in high school, my senior year. And right after graduation, at my graduation dinner, I announced this to my family that I'm expecting, right, in about 3 months. Surprise. And the disappointment of my family, because I was the one, right? They were really, I had good grades, I graduated with honors. There was a lot of expectation on me from my family. And in me becoming pregnant, that was a failure. It was such a letdown for them. And from that, I began to overperform, over
mhm,
deliver to make up for that particular failure. And I think a lot of times everything I did was to not fail again, and making up for that. And like, look, see, I'm still good. So it was a over performance to make up for a default, that a trauma that occurred earlier in life.
how how about I have the same story? So I was first year in college
Ah.
and supposed to be the first one in my family to graduate, go to
Mhm,
college. And
mhm,
it, I was the star, the expected one, and that happened. And
mhm,
I did like you, started did everything to try and make up for that failure.
mhm. Yeah.
So,
And
yeah,
on this side of it, after doing my work, right, I understand it now. I didn't understand it then.
yeah,
And
me.
it was compounded with, some of the, I'm going to say, some of the negativity that was, said to me by those that love me, right? That made me even feel worse about the thing, right? But I will tell you, I love my daughter. I love her immensely. And
Mhm.
I will also say, well, I love all my kids, so let me be clear.
Yeah.
Not just
Yeah.
her. I love them all.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
I believe that there are no accidents in life.
Mhm.
God allowed that to happen. It was supposed to happen
Mhm.
in my life. And I am the woman I am today because that happened in my life. Um,
Mhm.
I am so tremendously grateful that I got to be her mother, their mother.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
just for that
and
aspect of my journey, right? But
that's right.
I
Yeah.
understand why I became the person I became as a result of that particular incident. And it wasn't the incident, it was really my family's response to the incident that kind of
Right. Right.
caused me to
Mm.
really respond in that way, kind of overdrive, like, oh my God, I gotta over deliver now.
Well, mine actually, after I had the baby, they told me, now go back to school. This our baby. Could not believe. I'm waiting for the sky to fall in. I'm waiting for from heaven. I even think God was disappointed in me. So yeah, and there's a lot of how many people. I mean, I know can't give a number, but can you imagine how many women have that story, the different outcomes, but women feel like when they do something that nobody expected, that then they spend their life trying to make up for it. What question? What's I want to talk about burnout because uh, we got to talk about it to get to where you were able to write a book about it and call it From Burnout to Badass. Okay, so we got to get to that. What are subtle ways burnout can manifest that people may overlook?
Miss Judy, it's not like dramatic all the time, right? It
Oh,
happens
yeah.
really subtly, right? It can show up as silence. It can it can be just as subtle as silence. You stop speaking up in meetings or you begin to procrastinate, and not because you're lazy, right? But because you're depleted. You just, oh, I'll do that tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's gonna steal those dishes. I'll do them.
Yeah.
I'll do them tomorrow,
Okay.
right? Um,
Uh-huh.
you start craving isolation, right? Um,
That's good. Yeah.
right? And sometimes
That's a known. That's a
yeah,
known for so many.
yeah. And also you can begin to numb out with I'm gonna say sometimes it's substances like wine. It could be scrolling. You numb out on social media just with the scrolling, and you look up and you know lost hours, hours. Um, you can call it rest if you want to, but
Mm-hmm.
you're not really resting. You're not really resting. You say I'm fine when you with a fake smile. That's my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
When
Yeah.
on the inside you are screaming and dying, can somebody just please help me? But our ego won't allow us to, right? Burnout can be really sneaky. It hides behind busyness. We make ourselves
Mm-hmm.
so busy, or in my case, over functioning, right? And achievement.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying all
Oh, yeah.
achievements are bad, but we have to understand the underlying, like the reason behind the things that we do. Are we really over functioning? Are we busy? There's a difference between being productive and being busy. And oftentimes we take on stuff because we don't want to sit still and be with ourselves.
And do you think that that also kind of coincide with, I hear a lot of anxiety,
It can.
a lot of women who say, I have anxiety and I can't function. I can only do and hear so much, and then I can't function.
Mm.
Is that burnout too? Could that be burnout too?
It could be. I think burnout presents very differently in all of us as individuals, right? I think our upbringing has a lot to do with how we are in the world, lived experiences, our cultural makeup and things of that nature. But how it shows up in each of us looks very different. For me, it looked like over functioning. I'm going to anticipate the question before the question even is asked. I'm going to have the answer. I'm going to produce the thing before you even ask for the thing or even know you need the thing. Right? And then some other people, they just go in a closet and they're quiet. So it just really depends on you personally. I think, when I say get still and be okay being with yourself, is to really give yourself an opportunity to assess, where am I? What's really going on with me? And that requires time and it requires space. But so often we're filling our time and our space with other people's stuff because we're so busy being everything to everybody but ourselves.
Mm. And it's an extreme either direction.
Yes.
You're in an extreme.
Mm-hmm.
So now, can you share a personal, and you've been sharing some personal stories where you felt overwhelmed
Mm-hmm.
and how you navigated through it?
Yeah, so I would say the one story that I'll share is really coming back from after the loss of my son Charles and returning to the workforce, right? And at this point in time, you only got 6 weeks off. There was no 3 months, 6 months, or however long they get for leave.
Mm-hmm.
It was 6.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had 6 weeks that I was off from work. And during that time, I'm trying to process grief. I'm taking care of my kids, and just trying to get myself together so I could return to work. And I remember getting back to work after that loss. And it was as if nothing had, I'm supposed to just like jump back in, like nothing had changed in my life. Right. And navigating those responsibilities and processing grief at the same time became very overwhelming. To be in meetings and have just those emotions creep up and not know how to handle them or not feel safe enough that I could just like start crying, because Lord, there's no crying in business. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm now trying to stuff this down, which became very overwhelming for me. So one of the things that I had done was I started taking time for myself, like with myself. I literally booked a solo trip and just took myself away just to breathe
Mm-hmm.
and really
Yes.
process what was happening. But that really creating a new rule for myself that really moved me from hustle to a real place of, I'm going to call it harmony, and being comfortable with being vulnerable, right? Being comfortable to say, today's not a good day, or I'm struggling today. And oftentimes our ego won't allow us to be honest with ourselves, let alone with somebody else. And so I had to, really make a hard decision if I wanted to protect my ego and my persona, or if I was willing to just be human and, let the chips fall where they may.
Can I ask, how old was your son?
He passed at birth. So it was
Okay.
literally at birth. Yeah.
Mm,
And
good.
that was something to navigate, right? Because I had 6 children
Yeah,
at home that were expecting me to come home with their baby brother.
right.
That was not what transpired. So how do you help that you're processing your own grief, but also how do you help
Right.
process the grief of that as well, which is a lot. And then you got 6 weeks to get back to work.
Mm. Again, we have something in common. I lost a child at 18.
Mm,
So that was, like you said, that's another part of your life that you had certain expectations that you had to let go of,
mm-hmm,
unpack, and didn't know how.
mm-hmm.
So we can say, can you, well, we did the personal, what strategies do you recommend for setting boundaries
Mm.
between work and personal life? Because
You
a
know,
lot of people have trouble setting those boundaries, especially women.
oh, listen, yes, we do.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
think really it became real clear during COVID when you working at home and you're at home and you got the kids and all the things, right? It really be like
Right.
the world collided. But I do think that it's really important that you block your calendar. Time management is really important. You're spending your time. I look at time like currency, right? So look at where you're spending your time. It's kind of like how you spending your money. You look at your bank statement to understand what's important to you. Look at your calendar and see what's really monopolizing your time and what you're prioritizing. Blocking your calendar for yourself before anybody else gets on it. How about
So
that?
you talking about self-love, self
Yeah.
time, all that.
Yes, absolutely. And people think that it's selfish. It's not. It's necessary, right? You can't pour.
Right.
You can give somebody something you don't have. As they say, you can't pour from an empty cup. So you
Yeah,
need
that's
to
I
fill
thought
your
that's what you were gonna say.
yeah, you need that time to fill your cup. And oftentimes we lose ourselves in supporting the needs and expectations of others. And if we were to ask somebody who's doing all of those things, what lights them up, what brings them joy, what absolutely excites them in their life that has absolutely nothing to do with their family, their friends, their job, their to-do list, or their paycheck, they couldn't answer the question.
That
9 times out of
no.
because many of us have stopped doing the thing that was just
Mm-hmm.
for us because we've now given that time to somebody else, which is why
Mm-hmm.
I say block the time on your calendar for you. If there's a yoga class or a salsa class or reading a book and you want to carve out that time for you, do that. And don't give that time away. Be so protective of that time as if your life depended on it, because sometimes it absolutely does. The other
It
thing I
does.
listen, the other thing I would say is delete off of your, so we all are living with these devices and these phones. Delete, I would say turn off notifications that are absolutely not necessary. Turn them off. Use the focus time settings on your phone so that you can focus uninterrupted. That's really important as well. Um, if you have a personal device, do not have work apps on your personal device.
Oh, that's a hard one.
If you
I
have a
know that.
don't have personal apps on your work device. Like keep like separation of church and state, separation of work and personal,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
Right. It's definitely it is crucial.
mhm. I would also say stop explaining your no. Stop explaining your no. Boundary doesn't require a backstory.
Ooh, that one is for me. Even my daughter,
We're
even
like,
my
no,
daughter.
because, and then we start explaining and telling us the no
Yeah,
doesn't require a backstory. And it's because
that's right. That's
no,
mm,
we feel guilty for choosing ourselves. And so we feel like we have to explain it. You don't have to explain it. You can simply say, I would love to, but I don't have capacity to.
yeah. My daughter tells me all the time, Mama, it don't take all that. Take your time. You don't have to explain that.
Yes.
Well, now I do. I do.
Oh, you
But
do
I
not.
have, but let me tell you, Dana, I had to have a massive stroke
Mm.
to take me for God to get
Get your
some time with
attention.
me, put me on the potter's wheel and reshaped and remold me and
Mhm.
get me to where to my real purpose instead of
Mhm.
trying to do everybody else's, help with
Mhm.
everybody else's.
Yeah. Yeah, and I would
So,
also say rest is so important, Miss Judy. Rest is so important, and we don't get enough of it. We absolutely don't get enough of it. And so I think it's really important for us as human beings to know that we give grace to everybody else, but we judge ourselves for wanting to be joyful. We judge ourselves for wanting to rest or needing to rest. And we need to give ourselves just as much grace as we give everybody else. And so it's really important that we look at rest as as what it is and how important it is for our mental, our physical, our spiritual, and
mm,
really protect that rest like it's a board meeting.
right. Mm, it's essential.
It's essential. It absolutely is. Rest is essential. Joy is a responsibility that each of us have the right and the responsibility to experience on a daily basis. And many of us don't even give ourselves the opportunity to experience joy daily.
Then I love the way you say, give ourselves grace,
Mhm.
because we definitely can give ourselves grace.
Yes, we
God
can.
gave that word to us to use it.
Mhm.
It came from Him. Uh,
Mhm.
I, I, when I look back over my life, I have tripped, I have fallen,
Mhm.
but I never say stay down. Now I might been down longer than I would want to, but that's the problem. When we trip and fall, and then we get, because we're able to get up, we think that we're supposed to continue like nothing happened. And that's what happens. We continue, women continue. So I'm listening to you. I want to, well, let me see, let me show you this. I want to show everybody this.
Okay.
See that woman right there? From burnout to badass. I love that. So you got to tell us what made you come up with that title and what's it all about?
So what made me so the title was something else, Miss Judy, initially, and it was just it was not a good title. I was just gonna say it was not a good title. And I was sitting and I was having this conversation with the developmental editor, and she was just like, that title just seemed blah. That title does not seem like you. And
Yeah.
my feelings was a little hurt. And I went to the barber and I was sitting in the barber chair and I was talking to him about my conversation with her. And he was like, I agree. That title is trash, Miss Dana. I was like, trash. It hurt
You
my
getting
feelings.
offended, huh?
I was like, I'm getting offended all day long. Like, what is going on? And he said, that just doesn't seem like you. You're such a, he said, you're so bold and audacious and, you're a real badass. And I was like, I think, I think that might be the title. And so as I was driving home, I was like, from burnout to badass. I, I think I like it. So then
You like it?
I called the developmental editor and I said, so what do you think about this? And she was like, she started screaming. She's like, I love it. I love it. Where'd you come with? I said, you can thank the barber. You thank the barber. And that's how we really came up to it because she was not liking anything I was giving her. And I was like, but it was the barber. So I am appreciative to him reminding me who I was and how he experienced me on this side of things. And so that is how I came up with the title. But From Burnout to Badass is really about helping people, although I'm writing it from a woman's perspective, it's really to
Right.
help you discover and uncover, right, what it is, what misconceptions, what things may be going on in your life that might really be signs of burnout. There's a lot of reflection questions, so it's an opportunity for you to sit with yourself and ask yourself questions and whether or not this is occurring. There's stories in here of others and their journey, so to help you really kind of know that you're not the only person experiencing that. But there are also tools within the book and downloadables and things of that nature to help you walk through the journey to becoming or finding your badass self that resides
Mhm.
within you.
There was a time when you didn't call or think about yourself in that way.
That's true.
Uh, but now it's like a badge of honor to get that title of badass.
Yeah. Well,
So,
I think we all have a little, I'm going to say a little sassiness, a little spice.
yeah, sexy. Exactly.
And I don't use it in a derogatory way, right? I really think that for me, it's from a place of confidence and self-acceptance that I
Right.
am unique in who I am and what my skills and abilities are, and I have a purpose and I have value, and I embrace that. And I think each and every one of us need to embrace our uniqueness, and do it from a place of confidence and self-love and appreciation, and
Mhm.
understand that we may not be for everybody. We may not be everybody's cup of tea. And that is
Mhm.
absolutely okay. Some people like coffee, some people like cocoa.
Yes, that's right.
Right? Some people like none of the above, but you're uniquely positioned on this earth for a specific purpose that only you can fulfill. And whatever that is, give yourself permission to really embrace that mission on your life and walk it out wholly. And you cannot necessarily hold on to the relationships and different things and the place of
Mhm.
comfort that we kind of, it's like cozy with a blanket and out. Sometimes we just want to be comfortable and we want to do things from a place of comfort. But I think about the Jesus's journey, right? It wasn't comfortable. It wasn't comfortable at all. And so, we think oftentimes that our journeys are going to be comfortable, and they're not. Here's some background.
Well, I'm sorry, this thing started and I'm trying to stop it so you wouldn't hear it. Oh no, it just came on by itself.
Technology be
Well,
doing what it does. That's okay.
yeah, yeah.
That's
Well, the cover is beautiful.
Thank you.
Who who designed the cover?
So the picture was taken by a photographer friend of mine, Jason McCoy. He's out of Chicago. He's fantastic at what he does, and
Yeah.
you don't even feel like you're doing the photo shoot because he just makes it so fun and such an
Yeah.
inviting and inspiring environment. Red is my favorite color.
Mine too. Mine
Red is my
too.
favorite color, and my developmental editor and her team really came up with the overall design, but they knew the picture from Jason was just like they were like there were so many different ideas that they came up with. They gave me 13 different covers, which was like I'm like, what am I supposed to do with 13 covers? But they had just as much fun designing the different ideas
Yeah.
as I had, looking through them. And so over Thanksgiving holiday, my family kind of all voted on the different covers. And then the top three that my family narrowed down, I actually put out to social media, and we had actual people voting on the cover. And so we ended up picking this cover based upon all the votes and stuff, which I was happy about because it was my favorite, my personal favorite as well.
That is wonderful. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, I put this up And I want you to tell my audience, my viewers, where they could get a copy of that.
Yes, ma'am. So they can either get it directly from me, and if they get it from me, they go to from burnout to badass.com, and
Oh, easy.
from burnout-to-badass.com, I then will sign the copies that are ordered directly from my site, but it's also available on Amazon, on Barnes and
Yeah.
Noble, on Goodreads. So it's available in all those different places. It's available for in ebook as well from a download perspective, and it's available on some other sites in other countries because wanted to make sure that it was available more broadly, and so
Yes.
it's available if they're not in the US. There are some other local book websites that also carry it as well.
Okay. Well, let me tell you, I am a developmental consultant. I have a publishing company called Activate Your Faith Publishing.
All right. Yes.
Thank you. And this is my book, Healing Words, Speaking Life into the Generations, a Parent's Guide. And so I had to throw my plug in there too, Dana.
Yes, ma'am.
The healing words, when received, they have the ability to it, initiate and counteract negative wording, negative mindsets. It's it's a they have that effect in so many, especially women. I always say that they when I this podcast name generational turnaround.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, from that name, I was having events and trying to change the mindset of the young people who felt like they were going to get theirs by any means necessary. And I lived that. Can you hear me, Dana? I
Yes,
saw my.
ma'am.
Okay. I lived in a town, in an area, in a city where that mentality was very prominent. And we were losing young men, especially to the prison system or to the grave. And so before my big event, God told me in no uncertain terms the only way that there will be a generational turnaround is first we have to heal. We have to heal the young people, bridge the gap between the parents, the children, the young folks, and we have to bring back the village elders. And that is what that book is about. First chapter is about God, because that's where it all began. In the last is the faith of incarceration. Because if you don't do what is suggested between 1 and 13, you're going to end up in the incarcerated. And we
Mm,
see too many to say it's not going to happen to my child.
mm,
That's what healing words, speaking life into the generations, a parent guide, because it's got to start with the parents.
amen.
Thank you. Thank you. And everyone, my book is Generational Turnaround gmail.com. I'm like you, Dana. I want to be it to be memorable so that nobody has to think about it twice.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So our last question is, how can women support each other in creating healthier work environments?
I think that
What,
it's,
well,
oh,
they got a second part of this. I'm sorry.
okay.
What is one misconception about burnout and work life balance that you would like to debunk? Yeah, let me read this one again. What is one misconception about burnout and work life balance that you would like to debunk? And you can answer those together or apart.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Judy. So I'm gonna split them apart. All right. So I'll
Okay.
take the first half of that question first about how women can support each other in creating a healthier work environment. I would definitely start by saying we just need to stop normalizing the struggle, right? And start really normalizing support and softness and success. And what I mean by that and what that looks like is speaking up, right? When you see someone drowning in silence, it's okay to ask and give, hold space for that person, but speak up, lean into that. Sometimes we see it and we just be like, that's not my problem. It's not my business, right? But we need to speak up. Celebrating rest as much as we celebrate the results that we achieve, and sharing your strategies, right? Sharing the strategies that you've learned, sharing the shortcuts that you are using within your life. And the other thing I'm gonna say, we need to get comfortable talking about money.
Yeah.
We need to get real comfortable talking about money and helping each other with that conversation. Far too often we won't negotiate for ourselves. We don't ask for the right amount that we are justly due, and we are still operating under the old narrative of just work hard, keep your head down, they'll pay you what you're worth. But many of us don't even know what we're worth. We haven't
Yes.
even done research to understand what our worth is on the market, and if we do know it, we're not comfortable asking for it. And so we need to get comfortable talking about money. And so those are the things that I would definitely recommend. But we talked about it today, making sure that they're giving themselves just as much grace as they give to other people, that they don't look to explain their no. Their no does not need a backstory, but that they also understand that it is okay to choose themselves. And I think that I would say the most powerful thing that they can do is when they assess their lives, really take the time to assess their lives. If the life that they are living no longer supports or affirms or what's the word I'm looking for? Serves the woman that they are today or the woman they are becoming.
Mm.
It is okay to admit that and to change it. They are in the driver's seat. They are in the driver's seat. So that's what I would
Okay.
say on that one, right? And encourage each other to do that, right? To take the time to say the no, because oftentimes we're uncomfortable in doing it because we don't want to be the only one doing it. But we also need to know that it's okay. And sometimes we need someone else to give us the grace that we need to be giving ourselves. So be
Yes.
open to doing that. The second part of your question was about the one misconception about burnout and work-life balance.
Hmm.
It's a personal problem. I think with a self-care solution, it's really not. You can't cure burnout with a bubble bath,
Mm.
right? You
I
can't
hear
cure.
that so much.
It's not about massages and all these things are good. So I'm not saying that it's not, right? But I
Yes.
am saying that burnout is really a systemic problem wrapped in unrealistic expectations from and silent suffering. And so you don't just bounce back from that. You have to really rebuild with boundaries, with proper support, with a paycheck that reflects your worth and your value,
Mhm.
not just your output. And so, it's a holistic thing. It starts with the mindset, right? And really
Mhm.
getting your mind where it needs to be. Also your body, and taking care of your body in the your physical self in the right way. All these
Mhm.
things are intertwined, and they all work together. But when we are so busy focused on everybody else's needs and all the things that we're juggling, we don't have time to sit with ourselves to regulate our thoughts or take care of our physical selves in order to get ourselves to where we need to be, so that we're not burned out, and we can create healthy boundaries and things of that nature. So I would just say that it's not a personal problem that you can fix with a self-care solution.
Yes. I love it, Dana. I love everything you said. And I felt like you were talking to me. And I'm going to admit that I was in there. A lot of it was used to be me. Now, I'm not so much now, but it took me back in
Mm-hmm.
time. And I want to be able to help someone too. That's that's what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I have generational turnaround and a segment called This Ability Unplugs.
Mm,
That's getting rid of debunking myths about what we can do
mm-hmm.
as
Yes,
a
ma'am.
disabled. Hmm. So, all right. I pray that today is better than yesterday, but not as good as tomorrow. I pray that tomorrow will bring forth a double portion of blessings in the form of opportunity that you never saw coming. Thank you, dear Dana. Thank you
Man,
very much.
leave
And
that, Judy.
you received that?
I
Okay. Everybody out there, I hope you all received that as Dana did. Dana, hold on.
Yes,
Wait a minute. I'm coming back. Just wait 1 minute.